Different cultures approach emergency preparedness in radically different ways, and these cultural differences can literally mean the difference between life and death. Today I'm exploring how cultural attitudes toward risk, preparation, and technology shape survival outcomes around the world. In Japan, emergency preparedness is a cultural expectation, not an individual choice. Every household maintains emergency supplies, and citizens receive regular training on disaster response. Japanese emergency kits include a simple, effective gear that works for anyone regardless of training or experience. Japanese emergency sleeping bags are standard equipment in schools, offices, and homes because their culture prioritizes practical preparedness over impressive-looking gear. They don't view emergency equipment as sporting goods, they view it as life insurance that everyone needs. Scandinavian countries have similar cultural attitudes toward emergency preparedness, influenced by harsh climates where being unprepared can kill quickly. Norwegian schools teach children to carry emergency gear as automatically as Americans teach children to carry lunch money. In contrast, American outdoor culture often treats survival gear as a hobby or sport rather than practical necessity. This leads to emphasis on complex, expensive equipment that looks impressive but fails when conditions get serious. The cultural difference shows up in gear choices. Cultures that view preparedness as life insurance choose simple, reliable, inexpensive equipment that works for everyone. Cultures that view preparedness as recreation choose complex, expensive equipment that requires expertise to use properly. Indigenous cultures worldwide relied on simple, multi-use tools rather than complex specialized equipment. They understood that survival gear must work reliably in worst-case scenarios, not just perform well under ideal conditions. Military cultures around the world converge on similar solutions despite different training philosophies. When lives depend on equipment working properly, cultural preferences disappear and practical effectiveness determines choices. The most successful survival cultures share common characteristics. They prioritize simple over complex, reliable over impressive, and proven over innovative. These cultures produce higher survival rates not because their people are tougher, but because their gear actually works when needed. Emergency sleeping bags transcend cultural differences because they're based on universal physics rather than cultural knowledge. Heat reflection works the same way whether you trained in Japanese disaster response, Scandinavian preparedness, or American outdoor recreation. Cultural attitudes toward risk assessment also influence survival outcomes. Cultures that accept uncertainty and prepare for worst-case scenarios have better survival rates than cultures that assume emergencies won't happen or can be overcome through willpower. The lesson for individual preparedness is clear: adopt the cultural attitudes that produce the best survival outcomes. Choose gear based on effectiveness rather than cultural expectations, and prepare for worst-case scenarios rather than hoping for the best.